Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing fabulous. This is the last week of 10.0. We are going to cancel next week just because I'm getting ready for the beach. I leave for the beach June 1st. So it's a fifth week. So we're just going to cancel it and then we will start fresh June 7th. Okay. So next Sunday you will have off for Comeback Circle. But I am so excited to be with you guys tonight. Go ahead and mark in your calendar if you have not signed up for it yet. Sign up, even if you have to catch the replay. On Thursday, Bob is doing his 2 hour call from 7 to 9. If you're in the Comeback Circle chat, I've shared it in there. I've shared it in Beauty from Ashes. Sign up for it. It is going to be so good. I'm excited to learn about PACE, that he calls it. I don't even know what it stands for. I'm excited to learn about the truth post and what all that entails. I had a call with him personally this last week. Shelby and I are both doing some one-on-one coaching with him. So it has just been really good. And we are excited to see what it is going to do for our businesses. But that will be Thursday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. And it's a 2 hour. It will be recorded, but make sure you sign up, okay, to get the recording. Otherwise, I can't get you the recording. So it's only going to be for those that sign up. So sign up on the link, even if you can't watch it live. So tonight we are going to continue with this love-led topic that we have been talking about. And we're going to talk about a question that I have heard a few times over the last few weeks of, can I do it again, and believing again? Okay. So that is what we're going to dive into tonight. This is week 4 of Comeback Circle number 10. I cannot believe we're almost at a year. So tonight's is actually really personal to me. And if you saw, I made a truth post this week. And the reason I know it's a truth post is because I worked with Bob on it. Because I am not going to be the leader that's going to stand up here anymore. I refuse and act like I have never wrestled with doubt when I absolutely have. Okay. I think it's easy sometimes for people to look at leaders and assume that everything's going great. Their paycheck hasn't dropped. They're still making great money. They're always confident. They always believe. They never question themselves. They know what they're doing, right? How many of you have thought that about myself or about other leaders, right? I think we all have. I know I've thought that about Melissa before. And I think it's because we put leaders on this pedestal, and us as leaders, this is where that teacher mask and that disconnected mask for me goes on, because in my head, fear starts to say, oh, Ashley, you can't let them know that you struggle, because if they think you struggle, then they're going to be like, oh gosh, if Ashley's struggling, I can't do this. Like that's the fear in my head. But when in reality, if I would tell you guys that I'm struggling and that I struggle with X, Y, and Z, you guys would be like, oh, shoot, like it's not just me. Because if you think that you're the only one that struggles, then you start to think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be successful at this? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? Because I'm not being open and honest, right? So I'm working on it. Okay. And I even had a conversation with one of you that's on this call, and I was very, very personal and told you, and I'll be honest here, my paycheck in the last 3 years, again, this is very honest with you guys, has dropped $15,000. I used to make a certain amount every single month, and it's dropped $15,000. We're not talking 1,000, we're talking $15,000. It has dropped. Okay. This is real and raw. I lost, and some of you have been here when you saw this, I lost 8 directors in the span of 2 years. 8. I used to have 16 directors on my front line. We were close to 18, and I lost 8 of them in the span of 2 years. That was hard, right? That was a struggle. Did I let you guys know that? No, because I started putting my mask on. I got to save. I got to save. I got to keep everybody. Everyone's got to stay here. Oh, so and so just left. I got to save their team. And I didn't let myself feel what was going on, right? Okay. I know, Allie, I feel like that too. But the struggle is there for all of us. And if we don't act real, it makes you guys feel like you're alone. And I refuse to do that anymore. I refuse to put on this mask that everything is great and everything is fine and dandy. Okay? I think sometimes we look at leaders and we assume that they're always confident, that they always believe, that they never question themselves, that they always know what they're doing, right? But the truth is that there have been moments in this season, and this was my truth post the other day, where I have asked myself, can I do it again? What is wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Can I rebuild? Can I grow again? Can I lead again? Can I find my voice again? Was I just successful because it was COVID times? Was that season just luck? Did I lose what I have? And I know some of you on this call have thought and said the same things. I know I'm not the only one. If you were honest, you would say, yep, you're not alone. But here is what, as I've been working with Bob, that I have learned that we didn't lose my drive. I've still showed up, right? Y'all, I'm still going live. I'm still doing reels. I'm still doing X, Y, and Z. But you lost your belief. And I think many of us are showing up physically, but emotionally, mentally, internally, we stopped expecting things to happen. Yeah, I'm showing up out there, but the belief, I lost it for a little bit. Because disappointment has a way of doing that. And disappointment doesn't always make people quit loudly. I've never quit, right? I've always been here. For 7 years, I've been here. But internally, I disconnected a little bit, right? Because of everything going on, because of the disappointment. Sometimes what this has caused me to do is to stop hoping, to stop dreaming, to stop expecting growth, to stop believing that I can actually do this. And I think many of you are in the same boat. Some of you are not struggling with the strategy. You are struggling with belief. And there's a difference. Because you can have the training, you can have the products, you can have the leader, you can have the systems, you can have the incredible opportunity, you can have the knowledge, but the belief is still broken. And when the belief is broken, everything else feels heavy. Right? Everything else feels heavy. And one thing that I have realized in this season, and especially working with Bob lately, is that fear doesn't always scream. Okay. Like, oh, Ashley, you have fear. Take it over. It doesn't. Sometimes fear whispers. It whispers, oh, you already had your moment. People don't believe in you anymore. Oh, you took a step back. Oh, you're behind. Oh, you failed. Oh, other people are better than you now. Oh, you used to be good at this. Oh, you're not relevant anymore. Oh, you'll never rebuild what you had. And if you listen to those thoughts long enough, what do you start to do? You start to shrink back. You stop posting consistently. You stop inviting. You stop speaking confidently. You stop dreaming big. You stop expecting growth. Not because you're lazy, but because your confidence got hit, got knocked down. That's why. You lost some belief. And I'm here tonight to tell you that you are not alone. I lost a little bit of belief too. And sometimes that's what we need to hear is like, okay, yeah, I've lost some belief too. Some of you I've had conversations with, you told me you lost some belief in the company when we changed formulas. It's valid. You lost belief when we changed X, Y, and Z, when we went through this change or whatever. You lost belief when you lost your title. You lost belief because someone else gave you your title. You lost belief because whatever. Okay. I think a lot of us on this call can say, yeah, I've lost a little bit of belief. Confidence, you guys, in this is not pretending that you never doubted yourself. Confidence is continuing to move even while rebuilding your belief. You can rebuild it because I'm doing it. And that's where I've been. Okay. And I think that people are secretly believe that if they were really called to this, that they wouldn't struggle with doubt. Okay. I know I've thought that. Like, oh, if I was really called to do this, I wouldn't be struggling with this. If I was really able to do this, I wouldn't be struggling with this, right? But that's just simply not true. Okay. Rebuilding seasons does not disqualify you. Transition seasons does not disqualify you. Hard seasons does not disqualify you. You are not less anointed, less called because you are rebuilding confidence again. Okay? And honestly, some of the strongest leaders are not the people who never fail. They all fall. It can't just be this huge mountaintop all the time. The biggest leaders are those that keep showing up even while they are rebuilding. And like I said, I'm going to be honest with you tonight. There are moments where I genuinely wondered, can I rebuild this new season? Can I rebuild again? Not because I don't love people, not because I don't believe in this opportunity, not because I don't believe we have the best, or not that I don't believe that God has called me to lead this team, but because of disappointment, transition, pressure. It's big. That one is big for me. Pressure. It's hard. Comparison, loss. I've lost a lot of people that I love with everything in me. Exhaustion, all of that. Some of you that have been here for a long time, you're tired. I get it. And all of that can mess with your confidence if you let it. And how do I know? Because I've done it. But I realized something. I do not need to be who I used to be. I need to become who I'm becoming. I can't sit there and live in that. I need to be who I am becoming. Because if we just step in the past and we just stay stuck there, that's where we're going to say is stuck. I need to become who I am becoming. So you're probably thinking, okay, Ashley, that's all fine and dandy. Great. Thank you for making me not feel alone. I'm glad. But how do I rebuild belief? Well, the first thing that you got to do is you've got to stop rehearsing defeat. Stop constantly saying, I'm bad at this. I'm bad at social media. Nobody watches my stuff. I'll probably never rank that again. I'll probably never hit director. I'm not a leader anymore. I don't deserve this anymore. Other people are better than me. Mm-mm. Stop speaking defeat. There is power, there is life and death in your tongue, whether you physically say it or you think it. You cannot constantly be speaking defeat and expect your confidence, your belief to grow again. Okay? You can't. It's not going to grow if you keep speaking that. The second thing, you've got to start collecting evidence again. Sometimes belief goes back to those small moments. That's why if you're in the team-wide chat, we made the decision as a leadership team to shout every rank out every month. You may have hit 3% for the last 7 years, but gosh dang it, I'm going to shout you out every single month that you hit that because it's hard to earn that. 6%, 9%, 12. I think we get so caught up in, oh, I'm not ranking up, that we don't celebrate those small wins of what you are achieving. So we are going to shout that out. That might be a small win. Oh, I hit 3%. Woohoo. And I've always hit 3%. You know, it doesn't matter. We're going to keep shouting that out. Maybe you shout that out. Maybe you shout out one customer that you finally got a customer sale, or a new recruit, or you started talking to somebody that you haven't talked to before, or you're having a genuine conversation, or you were consistent this whole dang week. Or maybe you were honest about something. You did a truth post and that was honest for you. Belief grows when you stop ignoring the progress that happens. Start collecting that evidence again that you can do this, that you will do this. Okay? Number 3, another part to gaining that belief back. Move before you feel fully confident. This is important. This is important. I'm trying to speak, y'all. Words are not coming to me easily right now. This is important, okay? Sometimes confidence follows obedience. Some of you are waiting to feel confident before you move. Oh, I got to hit this rank before I move. Oh, I got to hit that sale. There we go again. There's that fear because it's result-based coming up. But movement is often what rebuilds your belief again. Okay? I'm gonna check in the chat. I got some more. This was hard to swallow. My therapist told me you are different since you lost your daddy. You have to move forward as a new person. Yes, you can't be that same person. Then as soon as I post, I'm like, am I good enough to do this? And I start doubting. I love pharmacy. Okay, but there it is again, Kayla. When you're focused, when you think that, that's fear speaking to you because your post is still result driven. You may not have posted that you wanted a result, but you still were expecting that result. I caught myself the other day. I was like, okay, I'm about to do this truth post. I wonder who's going to like and interact with it. Is it going to blow up? Is it going to be really good? And I was like, oh, Ashley, there's that fear sneaking in because I was result based instead of speaking to the people. Okay. I'm looking, making sure. Yes. Okay. Tiffany relating. Okay. So now I felt this strongly earlier when I was getting all my notes today that some of you have allowed your disappointment to become your identity. Some of you need to let that sit for a second. Some of you have let your disappointment become your identity. You started seeing yourself as the person who lost momentum, the person who failed, the person who dropped rank, the person who fell behind, the person who used to be successful, the person who used to believe. How do I know that? That's been me for the last year. And y'all probably like, what? You? That's been you for the last year? Yeah. Sorry, my sister is trying to call me. Cut my camera off. That's been me for the last year. But hear me tonight. A hard season is not your identity. A hard season is not your identity. And just because something didn't happen the way you thought it would, does not mean that God changed his mind about you and what you are called to do. Just because it didn't happen in a way that you thought it would, does not mean that God changed his mind about you and what you are called to do. Toe stepped on, shots fired. Okay. And I'm going to leave this with you tonight. You don't need fake hype. The other day, I had a conversation with someone and they were talking about their business and they were struggling and people leaving. And this fear started coming up in me. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? What new 90-day run am I going to launch? What new this am I going to launch? What new am I going to do this? And I was like, whoa. There you go, Ashley. You're trying to put that mask on, that teacher mask. You're trying to save. You're trying to let that fear. That's fake momentum. That's fake hype. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to act like you're fearless, but you do have to decide. Will fear make your decisions or will faith, love? And honestly, I'm still rebuilding belief in some areas too. The biggest one that I'm rebuilding is if I can build it to what it used to be again and better and stronger. Because I'll be honest again, right? Here I am being honest. I was a diamond director for a very long time. And now, for the last 3 months, I've been a golden director. Do you know that's 3 big drops in rank? That makes you question, Ashley, is your time up? Can you do this again? What did you do wrong? What is wrong? Blah, 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 blah. That's all fear speaking. We've got to rebuild that belief again. I'm choosing to move anyway. I'm choosing to show up anyway. I'm choosing to lead anyway. I'm choosing to believe again anyway. And I think some of you need to hear that from me tonight, that you're not too late. You're not too washed up. You did not miss your moment. Your best days are not behind you. Maybe this season isn't about becoming who you used to be, but it's about becoming someone stronger and better and different. Okay? That's what it is. Trying to make sure I'm in the chats. Hard season is not your identity. Yep. I know, Tiffany. I love you. Better, stronger, different. Yes. And we've just got to rebuild that belief again. And it took me going to, I think the Maldives is what started this shift in me, right? I was on that trip and I was seeing all these great people. And honestly, to be honest, I felt like I shouldn't have been on that trip. Yes, I earned it and I deserved it, right? I've earned that diamond title years ago, but I had fallen so far back, right? I think on the diamond trip, I was a platinum, which is like 2 levels down, big levels down. Okay. You went from 16 directors to 4, now 2. I felt like I didn't belong there, right? I'm like seeing all these big people. And Dalton looked at me and he was like, why not you? And I was like, and that's when I started to realize that I had lost a little bit of belief that I could do it again, belief that I belonged here, belief in myself, right? And I can, and I will, and you will too. And tonight, you just need to hear that you're not alone, that it's okay to not have that belief right now, but we're rebuilding it. And one day at a time, we are rebuilding that belief. So this week, my challenge to you is this. 1, be on Bob's call on Thursday, okay? 7 to 9 Central. Write down 5 lies that fear has been telling you. What is it? And if you want to share them with me, share them with me. You don't have to, you can keep it to yourself. 5 lies that fear has been telling you. And then I want you to replace them with the truth. Replace them with the truth. And this week in the chats, Comeback Circle chat, team-wide chat, wherever you are, celebrate every small win that happens this week. We are in the last week of the month. I don't know how we got here, but we are. And we're going to run hard. You can still run from goals, right? Bob's talked about that, while still being love led. And then ask yourself, what would I do this week if I truly believed that I could build again? What would I do this week if I truly believed I could build again? And honestly, I think some of you are about to surprise yourselves because that belief is going to be restored and you're going to believe again. You're going to believe again. I've never given up. I have, and we'll get to that next year, but I will say it. It's hard, but God, yes, it's hard. I look at the numbers every day and I'm like, oh Lord, how are we going to get back there? I don't know, but I believe that I can do it again. But it's okay to recognize that some of you have lost some belief, but we're rebuilding that belief tonight and here forward. Okay. Any questions? Any questions tonight? Any questions? We're good. Life has been hard lately, but I'm trying. I see you, sweet friend. I see you. Okay. Thanks for letting me be honest with you guys tonight and real and loving me, anyways, and just showing you that you're not alone. We all struggle. It's hard for all of us. You ain't the only ones. Okay. I love y'all so much. Again, next Sunday we won't meet. I'm packing for the beach. Thank you for being honest. This was much needed, friend. Good, Mariah. I'm so glad. And it's not like, another thing, like I've told you guys, like, has there been times where I'm like, oh, well, okay, maybe my time up here is up here at pharmacy. Let me go look at this company. Let me go try these products. Yeah, I've done it. But every single time I come back and I know that this is where I'm to be. There ain't no products out there that compare. Trust me. Okay. I've tried. They ain't nothing out there. Okay. But that's real, right? This is honest. And that's what I'm going to be with you guys. Much needed encouraging, speaking to my spirit. So glad, Nori. So glad. Okay. I love you guys. You have a wonderful week. Celebrate your wins. Write your 5 lies. I need self tanner back though. Girl, I've been going to the dang tan in bed because I need some tan. I feel you. Okay. But I love you guys. Y'all have a great week. We're gonna celebrate the end of the month. Okay. Keep celebrating all week long. I love you guys. And we'll finish on. Good night, you guys. Bye, y'all.